Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. National Transfer. Weak Wizards. I Can Dissect the Gods. Chapter 1. I heard that one of our senior classmates was transferred to a hidden profession element mage last time. I don't know if we have been able to awaken the hidden profession this time. You're talking about senior sister Gu Qingwan, right? It seems that she has reached level 27 now and is about to turn 3. Is it true? If I remember correctly, she seems to have just graduated from high school for a year, right? Is this about to turn 3? That's a nightmare level dungeon. The great god of the dark dungeon, can you compare with us? A mage who singles out a nightmare level dungeon is simply against the sky. The discussion from the classmates in his ears made Chen Yuan a little excited while yearning. Hundreds of years ago, the world was upheaval, the spirit was revived, and the game and reality were combined. Everyone can acquire extraordinary abilities and advance to the level of life through job transfer. Whether it is beheading wild monsters or clearing the dungeon, you can gain experience and rewards, making professionals stronger. Today is the day for the school to make a unified job transfer. I just don't know what career I can become. Hundreds of years of development have led to countless types of occupations today, such as the most basic warriors, assassins, mages, and so on. A warrior, as the name suggests, is an advantage in hand-to-hand strength. Assassins are agile hunters hiding in the shadows. Master, it is easier to understand. In addition, there are many other occupations. For example, a beastmaster who can command pet beasts to fight, a mechanic with a strong talent for machinery, and even a magic card master who uses cards, etc. Of course, in all professions, there are also some extremely powerful professions. Because there are very few people who can awaken this talent, it is called a hidden profession. For example, Gu Qingwan, who was mentioned by everyone just now, and Chen Yuan's last year's senior. What she awakened was the hidden profession, the elemental mage. Compared with ordinary mages, they are born with a strong affinity for elements. It can even learn various advanced elemental spells across the tiers, and has the output ability that is several times higher than that of ordinary mages. So, what kind of career will you wake up to? Chen Yuan looked forward to it, as long as it was a combat profession. Otherwise, if you change your job to a life occupation, although supporting your family is not a problem, it is not the mainstream after all, and you cannot have the right to speak. Okay, now everyone go to the playground to gather. The awakening will begin immediately. When Chen Yuan lost his mind, Lao Lu, the head teacher on the podium, shouted. Chen Yuan immediately recovered his senses, followed the crowd to line up, and set off to the playground together. Playground. The transfer circle has been built. On the edge of the magic circle, stood an old man. Although the old man was squat, he was hale and hearty, and there was a majesty between his brows. Because there is no reason to hide personal information, everyone can see the identity information of the old man through identification. Zhang Tian, silver rank, level 31, master of kendo. A level 31, a silver level professional who has completed the 3rd rank. Professionals, from the very beginning, have completed the 0th level of the awakening of career transfer, and every 10 levels will increase by 1 level. From the very first black iron rank, to bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and later, demigods and gods. It's just that in the past 300 years, very few people have been promoted to the demigod rank, and it is naturally impossible for everyone to understand as students. But a silver rank professional is already an extremely powerful existence. It is also the kendo class with the strongest attacking and killing ability in the combat class. Immediately, the eyes of the students passing by the old man changed, and they became extremely reverent. Elder Zhang, I will trouble you for this job transfer ceremony. Beside the old man, Principal Zhao of Hangzhou No. 2 Middle School said neither humbly nor arrogantly. Because he himself is also a silver rank professional. Should be, I see that everyone is almost there, so let's start. Okay, let's get started. I just don't know if there will be another hidden profession for this class of students. 1 hidden job a year. If that's the case, then Principal Zhao, you'll be prosperous. Ha ha ha, I hope so. On the other hand, with the beginning of the transfer ceremony, everyone started lining up in class. After the name is called, enter the transfer circle in front. Zhang San, The first boy whose name was called walked into the transfer circle with great interest. However, after a faint flash of light, the result of his transfer came out. Jong-san, a career in life. Cook. After hearing that his career change turned out to be a life career, Jong-san's big face collapsed instantly. It's just that after hearing that it's a cook, it's a little better. Cook. The cooked food has a certain chance to get the effect of attribute bonus. It can be regarded as one of the more popular occupations in life, and it can be regarded as a blessing in misfortune. Lee Si. A career in life. Miners. Ha 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 ha. Lee Si actually changed his job and became a miner. Will he only be able to mine in the future? This Nima is too miserable, isn't it? Much worse than Jong-san's cook. That's not necessarily true. If the miner can complete the third rank and transfer to a treasure hunter, it can be regarded as a very powerful support. Then you will also get level 30 to complete the third rank. You don't know what the conditions of Lee Si's family are. Who can bring him to level 30? If you say so, then it is estimated that it will be the life of mining in the future. There was a lot of discussion among the people. Lee Si left the transfer circle in dismay. There is no way, this world is so cruel. Without resources, no adventures, just relying on one's own life occupation, it is almost like there is no future. Looking at Lee Si, who quickly disappeared into the crowd, Chen Yuan took a deep breath and clenched his fists. It must be a combat occupation, even the most basic warriors and assassins can. Next, Lin Lele. Soon, Lin Lele walked out of the crowd. Although she is only 1.5 meters tall, her body proportions are excellent, making her fair calves look quite slender. It's just that cute and playful face, so that there is no blasphemous thought in life, she is completely a cute legal loli. Lin Lele is very popular in the school, and everyone naturally wants to know what the outcome of her job transfer will be. As Lin Lele walked into the profession transfer formation, a soft light soon fell on her body, brighter than the previous few. Zhang Tian, who originally stood with his arms folded and had nothing to do, was also attracted to his attention at this time. Lin Lele, special professional, beastmaster. Wow, Lin Lele is actually a beastmaster. This is a rare profession. Beastmasters can command powerful beasts to fight, and they can be regarded as one of the strongest in special occupations. The beastmaster is quite normal, but it's amazing to be a beastmaster when you transfer to a special type beastmaster. I heard that there was a senior sister in the previous years, who was also a beastmaster. After transferring to a devil contract envoy, you can contract devil. Really promising career. Compared with warrior mage or something, it is much more comfortable. While everyone was envious, Lin Lele also had a bright smile on his face, obviously quite satisfied with the result of his job transfer. Principal Zhao, although this beastmaster is not a hidden profession, it is a very rare profession. This year, your school has produced another talent. Zhang Tian congratulated Principal Zhao on his arrival. If nothing else, a beastmaster grows up, but it is quite a terrifying combat power. Look again, maybe there is a hidden occupation. Principal Zhao's face was crooked with a smile, but he still tried his best to hold back the joy in his heart and began to look at the next job transfer ceremony. Next, Chen Yuan. Finally, Chen Yuan's name was called. Chen Yuan took a deep breath, and although he was nervous, he walked into the transfer circle with resolute eyes. Soon, the transfer magic circle is running. Suddenly, the transfer magic circle suddenly exudes a sacred and colorful glow. Even the entire formation altar is shaking slightly, as if welcoming the arrival of some noble existence. This moment, all eyes are on here. Principal Zhao, who was chatting with Zhang Tian originally, stand up abruptly. The heart instantly mentioned the throat. This is the vision of a hidden profession. In the transition process, only when a hidden occupation appears, will the anomaly appear. Principal Zhao remembered clearly that in the last session, when Ji Yu Qingwan awakened as an element mage, the vision is that there are rays of light from various elements surrounding it. But this kind of vision is even more bizarre than it was then. Doesn't this mean that the awakened hidden profession of the person in the transfer magic circle is more powerful than Ji Yu Qingwan's elemental mage? Isn't that Chen Yuan from class 3? This is about awakening a hidden profession. There is a hidden profession. Our school feels like it's going against the sky. I'm envious. From today, Chen Yuan will take the road of a big boss, and he won't be able to get along with the weak chickens like me. Grass. Why can I only wake up to become a miner, and he can wake up to a hidden profession? Thief God, you are not fair. Don't you know, people's physiques are different. You are suitable for mining, and others are suitable for being a boss. I can go to you. Amidst the envious wailing of the crowd. After another full half a minute, the colorful rays of light gradually dissipated. Chen Yuan, who is in the transfer circle, is naturally very excited. He also saw the vision of the transformation of the magic circle. This means, he will awaken the hidden profession. So, what is it that you wake up to? With the end of the job transfer ceremony, Chen Yuan's job transfer result has already appeared. Chen Yuan, the only profession in the world. Wizard. Moment. The playground was still very lively. Suddenly it became silent. Everyone looked at Chen Yuan in the transfer circle. His face was weird, and the envy he had just now disappeared. Even Chen Yuan himself. They all froze in place, forgetting to get out of the transfer circle. Wizard. Chen Yuan's expression gradually became a little bitter. This profession is indeed a good hidden profession. However, something special. Its occupation determination is the only occupation in the world. This means that at the same time, there will only be one wizard in the entire world. This special degree made the profession of wizards cause a worldwide sensation when it first appeared. That was 400 years ago. A man from Continental awakened the wizarding profession. Everyone thought that he would become the first professional to set foot on a demigod or even a god. But the subsequent development has greatly exceeded everyone's expectations. This so-called unique profession in the world. Not only is it not strong, on the contrary, it is ridiculously weak. Wizards can use spells. However, compared to the wizard's spells are often weak, and the output is simply incomparable. Wizards can strengthen the body. But compared to warriors and knights, they are simply weak chickens that are broken at the touch of a button. Wizards have high spiritual power and good sensitivity. But in front of the real assassin, it is the lamb to be slaughtered. At first, everyone thought it was the person's personal reason, and there was no way to use the full strength of the wizard. But when that person fell in a copy, 100 years later, another wizard professional was born. The same is true for the wizard professional, who knows a little bit of everything but is not proficient at anything. Even compared with other ordinary professionals of the same level, their combat power is much worse. Then, for a whole 100 years. In total, there are 6 wizarding professionals. But there was no achievement, and everyone was obliterated. Some died in the dungeon, some were killed by other professionals, and some were even eaten by wild monsters. In short, everyone understands this truth. The profession of wizard is very simple to sum up. Spell output is not as good as a mage, hand-to-hand combat is not as good as a warrior, and the sensitivity is not as good as an assassin. You can do anything, but you can't do anything. Although it has a bluffing name, it is actually a waste-like weak occupation. This is the definition of a wizard in this world. While studying vocational courses in school, everyone knows about the professionals that exist in the world today. Such a special profession as a wizard is naturally the object to be highlighted. Everyone has this consensus. A man who awakened the wizarding profession. Best luck and worst. Best, because wizards are the only profession in the world. Only one person can awaken as a wizard. The worst is because this profession is too weak. Even the most basic warrior profession is much better than a wizard. So come on. When Chen Yuan learned about his hidden occupation, when it happened to be a wizard, it was as if a basin of cold water had been poured over his head. The taste of it, only you know. Why is it a wizard? Chen Yuan smiled wryly and sighed. If he was asked to change, he would rather replace this so-called hidden occupation with any ordinary occupation. But the matter has come to this point, it is absolutely impossible to change, and it can only be accepted. At the very least, a wizard is still a fighting profession, even if the combat power is a little weaker, it is still better than a life profession. Ding! It is detected that the host has been transferred to a wizard, the strongest wizard auxiliary system, and the binding is successful. The sudden sound in his mind made Chen Yuan stunned for a moment. Then, ecstasy. System. He even bound the system. In this way, even if his wizarding profession is weaker, with the assistance of the system, you won't be too bad on your own. Newbie packs are being distributed. Part of the origin of the world is being extracted. The world's original code has been constructed and released. The Eye of True Sight has been issued, and the One-Turn Scroll has been issued. Extract the origin of the world. Condensing the world's original classics. How it sounds. Is this system so insane? Chen Yuan immediately began to understand what his so-called world scriptures were doing. World Original Book contains all the knowledge of this world. According to the level of the user's mental power, the corresponding content is gradually opened. Contains all the knowledge of this world. Did you make a mistake? Rao as Chen Yuan has read countless online articles before. But I was still shocked by my own system. Take a look at your own property panel. Chen Yuan Black Iron Rank 0 Sorcerer. Attributes: Strength, 12. Agility, 11. Spirit, 15. His mental power is now 15 points, and 5 points above the level 0 benchmark of 10 points. I don't know how much the World Original Book can be opened up. Just as he was about to take a deep look, he suddenly realized that he was still standing in the transfer circle. Chen Yuan quickly regained his mind and returned to the class position from the transfer circle. Walk all the way. Those who were wailing and envious of Chen Yuan just now all cast sympathetic glances at him. Hidden occupations are indeed hidden occupations. But it turned out to be a wizard, then it was really luck. Even Li Si, who was awakened as a minor. He even barked his teeth and patted Chen Yuan on the shoulder. Brother, don't think about it. Although you are a little weak, you wizard is better than me, a minor. Thank you, I'm fine. Chen Yuan didn't want to say more at this time. He still has so much to see. Next to the transfer formation. Zhang Tian watched Chen Yuan disappear into the crowd. Shaking his head, he sighed. Unfortunately, I finally found a hidden profession, but it turned out to be a wizard. Compared with the others, Principal Zhao wanted to cry without tears. A good hidden profession, how can it become a wizard? It's like he 100 million won dragon summer coins by scratching the lottery. But a second before claiming the prize, he told him that there was a wrong number. The gap in my heart is so big. Hey, forget it, the hidden profession is not so easy to come out, and it is already very good to have a beastmaster. Principal Zhao shook his head and said helplessly. Transfer is over. The result of the second transfer in Hangzhou this time is almost the same as in previous years. There are more than 100 people who have awakened combat occupations. The remaining 500 or so are all life occupations. Among them, the most impressive ones are Lin Lele, a Lolita Beastmaster, and Chen Yuan, a low-level hidden professional wizard. There are two more. One of them is the class flower of Class 1, Zhou Yueling, a rare occupation, Holy Priest. The other is a boy from Class 7, Feng Yu, a rare profession, a Shadow Assassin. There are 4 people in total, which is the most eye-catching in the transfer ceremony. Of course, Chen Yuan is different from the other 3, and it is entirely because it is so miserable that it is noticeable. After the transfer ceremony is over, the school has announced the beginning of a holiday. This 7-day holiday is designed to familiarize students with their careers. After 7 days, it is the big exam to prepare for admission. Only students who can enter the various universities can enjoy the privileged resource treatment. Among them, Lin Lele, Zhou Yueling, and Feng Yu, who had awakened to rare occupations, were kept by the principal. Don't even think about it, it must be to establish a connection with these geniuses and plan to provide them with resources to help. Chen Yuan is envious of this, but not much. The system is the biggest reliance on oneself. Without staying at the school, Chen Yuan went straight home. Chen Yuan's home is in an old community near the school. His parents passed away very early, and there are no sisters or sisters, he is the only one. The legacy he left behind is about to end when he reaches high school, and soon there is not much left. My only way out is to use the assistance of the system to firmly seize any opportunity to become stronger. After thinking about it clearly, Chen Yuan immediately checked the other 2 things in the novice gift bag. Eye of True Sight, it can detect and analyze the data of everything, achieve the effect of complete, true sight, and be immune to all cover-up restrictions. Dig. This is a magic trick. I learned it at school. If high-level powerhouses hide their information, then low-level professionals can't see any information about the other party. The same goes for high-level monsters, beasts, and equipment. Now, I have the eye of true sight and I am immune to all covering effects. It means that everything will be invisible in your own eyes. And many more. Chen Yuan suddenly realized a problem. If this eye of true sight can analyze the information of everything, does it mean that their corresponding weaknesses can also be analyzed? If this is the case, when you face the enemy, you will firmly grasp the initiative. Excited, Chen Yuan immediately fused the eye of true sight with the sound of the system integration successful. A mysterious rune gradually lit up in the pupil of Chen Yuan's right eye. This rune seems to be filled with the truth of the universe and can see everything. Chen Yuan turned his eyes and looked at the table in front of him. Analyzing. Desktop. Material. Wood. When the strength reaches 18, it can be broken. There is a weak point 3 centimeters above the center, which can be broken with 11 points of strength. Really, this eye of true sight can analyze everything. Chen Yuan took a deep breath and smashed to the right side of the wooden table. Boom. A loud bang. The tabletop vibrated, but it was not broken. This is because Chen Yuan's strength attribute is only 12, which is lower than the 18 required to defeat it. So, Chen Yuan's gaze shifted to the left. I came to the weakness mentioned by Eye of True Sight. Raise your hand and punch it down. Bang. The sound is several times clearer than before. The originally sturdy table was broken by Chen Yuan's punch. This means that the weakness analyzed by Eye of True Sight is practical. Incredibly accurate. A smile appeared on Chen Yuan's face. Apart from the World Original Book, this Eye of True Sight will be his most powerful assistant. By the way, there is one more scroll. One turn scroll. Can make the first job transfer after reaching level 10. Wizards have no restrictions, no genres, and what they pursue is the truth of omniscience, and omnipotence. Career transfer allows wizards to master a new system ability. Wizards have no limits, no genre. What we pursue is the truth of all-knowing, all-seeing and almighty. Seeing these words, Chen Yuan's heart suddenly surged with pride. Everyone said that wizards are not as good as wizards in spell output, not as good as warriors in close combat, and not as sensitive as assassins. Then it starts with me, wizard, and will no longer be a weak profession. And generals, standing shoulder to shoulder with gods, achieve the strongest. When the ambition is expressed, still need to be grounded. Taking back the longing in his heart, Chen Yuan began to look at World Original Book. One of the novice wizard guidance tasks, learn the first spell. Reward. Psychic potion, increase 5 points of mental power attribute. Good guy, there's also a novice guide quest. Just learn a spell and get a reward. Or an extremely rare attribute potion. You must know that potions that can permanently increase attributes are extremely rare. Even if you can only add a little attribute, you can only get it for tens of thousands of dollars. The starting price of a potion that adds 5 attributes in this way is definitely more than hundreds of thousands. Still priceless, Chen Yuan lowered his heart and opened the World Original Book. This World Originals is quite convenient. As long as Chen Yuan thinks of which part of the content he wants, the corresponding content will be displayed automatically. World Original Books, Spells, Elements. Flame Elements. Generally speaking, the first thing a mage learns are elemental spells. For example, Fireball Technique and Water Ball Technique are the basic essential skills of every mage. Although Chen Yuan is a sorcerer, his knowledge of spells is limited to what the teacher taught in class. Naturally, I turn to this chapter. Fireball can launch a fireball to attack. Basic requirements for learning 12 points of mental strength. Learning difficulty, as long as you are not a mentally handicapped mage, you can learn it. Learning source, self-comprehension. Scroll learning, teaching from others, simulation of original classics. Original recommendation, garbage spells, no need to learn. Good guy. This World Original is indeed a terrifying treasure trove that contains all the knowledge of this world. The level of detail in this pair of spell records is simply staggering. The basic requirements for learning, the difficulty of learning, and the source of learning are clearly marked. Most importantly, is there an original recommendation? Garbage magic. No need to study. Is it so real? Wait, what is a canon simulation? Chen Yuan felt like he had found a blind spot. Original simulation. Use all the mental power to simulate the principle of the spell once. Whether to comprehend depends on the user's comprehension. Use all your psychic power. If all the mental power is consumed, it is similar to being drained. It will take a while to recover. Chen Yuan's mental strength now has 15 points. According to the mental power of an ordinary person at 5 points per hour, it takes 3 hours to recover. It's just that it's too bad to use it to simulate a fireball technique. Chen Yuan's gaze shifted from the fireball spell to the next fire element spell. Flaming sword. It can condense flame elements to form a flame sword, which can be used to kill enemies. Basic requirements for learning: 15 points of mental power. Learning difficulty: it is a little difficult. Learning source: self-comprehension, scroll learning, teaching from others, simulation of original classics. Original recommendation: the best fire element spells that can be learned by mental power at present, and can also exercise close combat ability. It is recommended to learn. Flaming sword. Chen Yuan had heard of this spell. It can condense a very handsome flame sword. The power is many times higher than that of fireball. But isn't this a spell that mages can only learn after level 5? I am a level 0 wizard. If I learn it, it should be normal. Besides, since the world's original scriptures are recommended to study, do you still need to hesitate? Bring it on. Simulation. Original simulation starts. The virtual world unfolds. The real world gradually fades, and the world formed by the combination of various lines and light spots is gradually recast. Here is the virtual space constructed by the original world. Chen Yuan was focused and did not dare to relax in the slightest. If you didn't learn the flaming sword this time, you would have to wait at least 3 hours later. Soon, in front of Chen Yuan, countless light spots gradually condensed and gathered into the shape of a faceless man. But this person's body is transparent. Chen Yuan could easily see the flow of elements in his body. That is the spiritual power vein from the chest to the right hand palm, and there is a fire element flowing. Immediately afterwards, a large number of fire elements around, attracted by the fire elements in the faceless man, began to gather. Slowly, the number of fire elements gradually increased, and a substantial flame has almost formed. Next second, the fire element in the faceless man spewed out. Completely ignite the external fire element. Boom! A huge flaming giant sword was formed in an instant. Fire is shining. The flames are overwhelming. The faceless man slashed out with a sword. There will be flame sword energy accompanying. The power is several times greater than the fireball technique. This is the magic principle of the flaming sword. This is the first time to observe the principles of magic in this way. Chen Yuan looked fascinated, but soon, the intense dizziness of mental power consumption came. The virtual world composed of surrounding lines and light spots gradually collapsed, and the real world gradually returned. Chow Wendao, she can die. It's worth it to be able to observe the principles of spells so clearly. 3 hours later, another good guy. 3 hours later, Chen Yuan woke up slowly. Although the mental power has been replenished, the head is still a little groggy. After I went to the bathroom and poured cold water on my face, I woke up a lot. Back in the living room, Chen Yuan tried to condense the fire element. The magic principle of the flaming sword, I have almost memorized it, and the next time is the test. At school, teachers have taught the most basic elemental attraction skills. These are all preparations for the job transfer. After all, other than the mage, other combat professions may also use various elemental powers. For example, priests may use light elements, thieves may use dark elements, and warriors will also use fire elements to bless their attacks. In short, element attraction skills are almost a must-have skill for every student. Exactly. Because of his high mental strength, Chen Yuan's elemental attraction skills are well learned. I saw Chen Yuan activate the element attraction skill, and slowly, a large number of fire elements began to gather in Chen Yuan's palm. Then, follow the magic operation method of the faceless man in the virtual world. Use the fire element emanating from the spiritual power veins from the chest to the right palm as a guide to ignite the fire element in the palm. Boom! With the breath of scorching flames, a slender flame sword appeared in Chen Yuan's hand. The flames reflected Chen Yuan's excited face. The first time. It worked on the first try. Doesn't this mean that his understanding is very high? As for the flaming greatsword, it became a flaming longsword. It should be caused by unfamiliar skills and insufficient number of elements gathered, but this can be improved gradually. Chen Yuan held the flaming long sword and waved it a few times in the air, feeling quite comfortable. If you want to, you can even cut out the flames on the flaming long sword in the form of sword wind. It's just that this is my own home, so it's okay to tear it down. Putting away the flaming sword, Chen Yuan found that his mental power dropped by about 1 point. 1 minute corresponds to the consumption of 1 point of mental power, which means that I can now use the flame sword for up to 15 minutes. No, 10 minutes. 5 points of mental power is the most basic condition for staying awake, and it needs to be reserved. Ding! One of the novice wizard guidance tasks has been completed, and the rewards will be issued. The next second, a bottle of reddish liquid appeared in Chen Yuan's hand. It seems that it should be the spiritual potion that can increase the spiritual power by 5 points. Without any hesitation, Chen Yuan unscrewed the bottle cap and drank it in one gulp. The entrance is slightly sweet, but it has a special ability that makes people feel refreshed. Chen Yuan could feel that his spiritual power was slowly improving. After a while, open the Personal Properties panel. Chen Yuan Black Iron Rank 0 Sorcerer. Attributes: Strength, 12. Agility, 11. Spirit, 20. Really, after drinking a psychoactive potion. Mental strength from 15 points to a full 20 points. You must know that before the awakening of the job transfer, Chen Yuan's mental power of as high as 15 points was already the best in the class. The mental power of the average person, at level 0, is about 11 or 12. Awakened mage, priest and other professions may be a little more, but it is almost 134. But Chen Yuan already had 15 points, and now it has increased by 5 points, reaching 20 points. It is no exaggeration to say that it has surpassed the 17-point average spiritual power of a 5th level mage. Now that the mental power is increased by 5 points, that is, the use time of the flame sword can be increased by 5 minutes. Wait. A bold idea suddenly flashed in Chen Yuan's mind. Following it, the World Original Book was turned to the corresponding chapter. Original Book of the World Pharmaceutics Supplement. Topics related to psychiatric potions. Low-level mental power supplement. The lowest level mental power supplement, which can replenish 10 points of mental power at one time. Recipe: 10 grams of spirit leaf grass powder, 5 grams of ghost core, 50 milliliters of water. Eye of True Sight Blessing, 100% success rate. Note: Dark Iron rank professionals can take up to 10 bottles within 24 hours. Really can. Chen Yuan's idea just now was whether the use of the flaming sword in battle could be extended by the potion that replenishes his mental power. I didn't expect World Original Code to be so powerful. It really works. It even gave the specific recipe directly. You must know that this kind of supplementary medicine is generally made by professionals who have been transferred to pharmacists. They need to spend a lot of money to buy the corresponding production scrolls, and in the end, even if there are raw materials, it is not 100% successful. The pharmacist of the Black Iron rank may only have a success rate of 10%. This also results in high prices for refills. Even the lowest level of spiritual tonic would cost thousands of dollars a bottle. Who can use it for ordinary people? But Chen Yuan is different. With the blessing of the Eye of True Sight, the success rate will be 100%. Spiritual leaf grass and ghost. Spirit leaf grass can be collected from the plains on the northwest side of Hangzhou City, or purchased from the material store. As for the ghost core, is this something you can get by killing the ghost? Chen Yuan's eyes fell on World Original Book again. World Originals, Monsters, Spiritual Monsters. Ghost. Nearest distribution area, Silent Forest on the east side of Hangzhou. Characteristic: Soul Spirit Body, physical damage reduction by 90%. Skill: Scream of Fear. It can affect people's mind and cause confusion. Drop: Ghost Core. Original recommendation: the ghosts in this area are mainly LV.2 LV.5, which can be easily killed by the flame sword, and can be used for materials at will. After reading the ghost information, Chen Yuan immediately decided to go to the Silent Forest to brush ghosts. In this way, not only can you collect materials for making low-level spiritual tonics, but you can also level up. You must know that the big test will take place in 7 days. Chen Yuan intends to be a blockbuster in that big test, so grades are naturally very important. After a little preparation, Chen Yuan set off towards the Silent Forest. Silent Forest. This is a quiet dense forest on the east side of Hangzhou City. Since the game came to reality, all major cities have built tall walls to defend against all kinds of monsters outside the city. Therefore, if you don't take the initiative to go out of the city, it is still safer to stay in the city. Only, farming monsters can not only provide experience, but also drop a lot of precious materials. Therefore, as long as it is a career changer, generally, they will often go out of the city to experience and improve themselves. If you're lucky, encounter a random dungeon in the wild. After clearing the dungeon, it is possible to obtain various precious rewards. Among them, equipment is the most sought after, and it is also the biggest reward for professional improvement. Risks and opportunities coexist, and it may be possible to take off in an instant. Chen Yuan left the city after signing a self-risk-taking certificate with the City Wall Security Office. But even after leaving the city, there is still a distance of several kilometers to reach the silent forest. Chen Yuan held the dagger he carried with him in his hand, and was always on guard for random monster attacks. Light dagger, the most common dagger, which can be purchased in any weapon store. Attribute, Strength +3. Ding. The novice wizard guides the second task, kill 10 monsters. Reward, 1 piece of silver equipment. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. The sudden system task made Chen Yuan suddenly excited. Silver rank equipment. This is an extremely rare and precious treasure. Generally speaking, there are only 3 ways to obtain silver level equipment. First, kill the wild boss of the silver rank. Second, the dungeon with the difficulty of customs clearance above the silver level. Third, buy from others. The first 2, Chen Yuan, who is now only black iron rank 0, must not be able to do it. As for buying a piece of silverware from others, it would cost at least hundreds of thousands of Longxia coins, not to mention the consideration. But now, as long as you kill 10 monsters, you can get a piece of silver. Suddenly, Chen Yuan felt that his whole body was full of motivation. It didn't take long. After about a kilometer out, Chen Yuan got his wish and encountered the first wild monster. LV.1 Human Face Cat. Attributes, Strength, 5. Agility, 13. Spirit, 3. Introduction, a strange cat with a human face, often making the sound of crying babies at night to lure unsuspecting travelers. This monster's strength and spirit are weak, and it doesn't even have a single skill, but its agility is high. Combined with their extremely sharp claws and fangs, they can pose a great threat to low-level professionals. In this regard, Chen Yuan was not flustered at all. The eye of true sight opens. Mysterious runes circulated in the pupils. Soon, the weakness of the human face cat was analyzed. The center of the eyebrows, the lower abdomen, the lateral ribs. This low-level monster has too many weaknesses. It's just that Chen Yuan's agility attribute is only 11, which is lower than the 13 of this face cat. The best way to deal with it is to attack with a defense and to stop it statically. Sure enough, this brainless human-faced cat jumped towards Chen Yuan after screeching. Those sharp claws and fangs were looming, ready to give Chen Yuan a fatal blow at any time. However, even its agility is higher than that of Chen Yuan. But under Chen Yuan's almost perverted mental power, still able to fully prepare to observe its trajectory. Ready to go, one-shot kill. When the human-faced cat is about to approach, Chen Yuan dodged sideways. Immediately afterwards, he inserted all the daggers in his hand into the side rib of the human-faced cat. Here is one of its weak points. The piercing dagger stirred violently. Instantly destroys the internal organs of the human-faced cat. There was almost no struggle at all, and the man-faced cat that was still aggressive disappeared. Experience +1. LV.0 1/5. After throwing away the corpse of the human-faced cat, Chen Yuan did not leave immediately, but squatted down. This human-faced cat should have something useful on it. A qualified wizard will not miss any available materials. World Originals expand. Material Encyclopedia Human Face Cat. Gallbladder, a material that can be used to make accelerated medicines. Sharp claws, fangs can be used to make low-level weapons and equipment. Face can be used to make human skin masks. These 3 are the most valuable materials on the human face cat. After Chen Yuan took it off with a dagger, it was all thrown into his personal warehouse. Every job transfer person will obtain a piece of virtual space coordinates as a personal warehouse at the moment when the job transfer awakens. The initial size of the personal warehouse is 1 cubic meter, and the size of the personal warehouse can be expanded through boundary stone. It's just that the boundary stone is extremely rare, it is a platinum level item, and the starting price is more than 1 million. Kill 4 more monsters and I'll be able to get to level 1 before I reach the Silent Forest. Kill 9 more monsters to get silverware. Chen Yuan got up, his eyes were fiery, and he moved forward excitedly. Silent Forest entrance. A group of 5 people is planning to enter it. It was none other than the one who was surrounded by 4 people and protected in the center. It was Zhou Yueling, the high cold flower of Class 1. Miss, this is the only place near Hangzhou where there are soul creatures. Your holy spells can cause a lot of damage to them, and leveling up is almost twice the result with half the effort. As for the rest of the monsters in the Silent Forest, just leave them to us. You can practice your skill levels with confidence. Well, then I'll trouble Uncle Zhang, you guys. It should be, as long as you can get good grades in the big test in 7 days, miss, it's nothing for us to work hard. The middle-aged man who was called Uncle Zhang by Zhou Yueling laughed heartily. His name is Zhang Dong, and he is one of the senior guards of the Zhou family in Hangzhou. This time I came to the Silent Forest to protect Zhou Yueling. As the eldest lady of the Zhou family, she has awakened a rare and holy priest. Zhou Yueling was naturally placed in high hopes and became the seed player to compete for the top spot in Hangzhou. No, the 7 days before the big exam are for students to familiarize themselves with their careers, brush up their grades, and prepare for the big exam. The Zhou family has the resources and ability to provide Zhou Yueling with a suitable, convenient and efficient way to level up. Why not do it? Miss, after entering the Silent Forest later, most of the monsters are red-eyed rabbits, wolves, etc., so I will deal with the 3 of them. If we encounter ghosts, the 3 of us are mainly physical attacks, so we can only leave it to you, miss. If there is any danger, we will delay time for you, miss, please use the city return scroll as soon as possible. I see. Zhou Yueling nodded lightly. However, she didn't take it too seriously. Most of the monsters in this Silent Forest are below level 10. As a bronze rank 18, Zhang Dong, who is close to the silver rank, is fully capable of dealing with it. As for ghosts, most of them are only level 2 to level 5. Even if she is level 0, due to her occupational characteristics, holy spells are 5 times more powerful against soul monsters, so there shouldn't be any danger. What's more, the city return scroll is an extremely rare item. The space transmission principle contained in it makes it worth as much as tens of millions. In the dangerous wild, it is equivalent to a life-saving skill. Even the Zhou family, who has a large family business, has a total of 3 city returning scrolls, and one is used less than 1. Since Miss understands, then I won't say more. The 3 of you are also ready, the array enters. PFF'd. Another human-faced cat was beheaded. Experience +1. LV.1 4/10. This is already the 9th monster that Chen Yuan has killed. When he killed the 5th monster earlier, he successfully rose to level 1, and his attributes increased by 1 point in all aspects. Only the last monster is needed to complete the novice task and get the silverware. After collecting all the materials on the human-faced cat as usual, Chen Yuan was secretly excited. Continue to keep moving forward, and at this time, there is less than 1 kilometer left from the Silent Forest. Finally, the last monster appeared. It was a wolf-like creature with a strange shape. Except for the head, the rest of the body turned out to be white bones. The only flesh and blood head, in the scarlet bloody eyes, flashed crazy killing intent. LV.4 Bone Wolf. Attributes: Strength, 16. Agility, 12. Spirit, 8. Skill Bone Spur. Quickly extend a sharpened bone as sharp as a dagger from the body. Original recommendation: it is best not to melee a novice wizard who has not yet grown up. Even if there is no original recommendation, Chen Yuan would not be stupid enough to fight this white bone ghost wolf, whose strength and agility attributes are above him. The best way to deal with this kind of thing is long-range magic attacks. For example, Flaming Sword. Chen Yuan activated his skills instantly. Under the control of his high mental power, the original flame sword is extended again. The length is almost 1.5 meters. The flaming sword made of flames has almost no weight, and even if its length exceeds the standard, it can be easily swung. Roar. That skeleton wolf is not very wise. Even though the flaming sword in Chen Yuan's hand made it instinctively fear, it still roared and rushed up. The white bone body began to creep, and a sharp bone spur was about to shoot out. Available before. The eye of true sight swept away. The weakness of the skeleton wolf is exposed. Weakness. Right under its jaws. High concentration. Breathe slowly, taking advantage of the moment when the white bone wolf jumped up. The flaming sword in Chen Yuan's hand stabbed sharply. Almost effortlessly pierced the jaws of the white-boned wolf. Even with the whole head penetrated. It is indeed a spell that can only be learned by a wizard after level 5. The power is much higher than the existence of a bad street like the fireball technique. Experience +4. Black Iron Rank Wizard LV1 8/10. A LV.4 Boneless Wolf. 4 points of experience are directly provided. As a result, Chen Yuan is even about to be promoted to LV.2. Put away the flaming sword in your hand. Mental power only consumed less than 1 point. The power of the flaming sword is still a little big, and this head is almost destroyed. Only these bone spurs have some value left. Chen Yuan removed the bone spurs from the white bone wolf and threw it into his personal warehouse. After doing this, Chen Yuan did not hesitate to receive the task reward directly. Ding! The novice wizard guides the second task to complete. Rewards are being distributed. As the system beep falls, a ring flashing with dim blue light appeared in front of Chen Yuan. Silver rank quiet blue ring. Attributes. Spirit +10. Characteristic. Blue soul can accommodate a soul spirit creature below level 20. Characteristic. Shimmering blessing can reduce the influence of spiritual skills by 20%. After reading the description of the equipment, Chen Yuan's heart beat violently. This ring is worthy of being a silverware, and it can actually increase mental power by 10 points. My current mental strength is only 21 points, almost equal to a 50% increase. In addition, it can also reduce the influence of spiritual skills by 20%. It can be regarded as a very powerful buff. But the most important thing is the feature called Blue Soul. It can accommodate a soul creature below level 20. Doesn't that mean you can be like a beastmaster? The Imperial Envoy is a soul spirit creature. Chen Yuan's eyes instantly turned to the quiet forest not far away. Originally, I just wanted to brush some ghosts and get ghost cores. As a result, now, there is still a chance to capture a ghost. This is simply an unexpected surprise. After a while, Chen Yuan has roughly figured out how to use the blue ring. As long as the soul-like spirit body becomes weak, it can release the blue soul for compulsory collection. After receiving the spiritual body, it will form a mandatory contractual relationship with the owner of the blue ring. This contract will not expire until the spirit body dissipates or the owner of the blue ring takes the initiative to release it, otherwise, it can continue to take effect. Any ghosts below level 20 can enforce contracts, but it seems that there are only ghosts from level 2 to level 5 in this silent forest. It's a bit of a waste, but it's better than nothing. After wearing the blue ring, Chen Yuan could feel the huge increase in spiritual power, and even what he saw in his sight became much clearer. After getting used to it for a while, I set off for the silent forest. Soon, the silent forest arrives. In the dark forest, from time to time there was an eerie whisper and screeching. For professionals with low mental strength, it is extremely dangerous to step into this place. However, this did not affect Chen Yuan in the slightest. The spiritual power of up to 31 points, coupled with the 20% spiritual debuff reduction of the blue ring, made him feel like a duck to water in this silent forest. There are ghosts in the silent forest, but ghosts are rare spirit monsters, mainly ordinary monsters such as red-eyed rabbits and wolves. However, relying on his strong mental power, Chen Yuan can capture the surrounding movements in detail, and he can often prepare for battles in advance before all kinds of monsters attack. In this way, just rely on a simple dagger and the eye of true sight. Along the way, it can be described as wind and clouds, and countless ordinary monsters have been killed. Experience naturally also rises, soaring all the way. Beheading LV.2 Red-Eyed Rabbit, EXP +2. Beheading LV.3 wolves, experience +3. Until Chen Yuan came to a dilapidated hut with obvious oddities. The accumulated experience has allowed him to upgrade to LV.3. Both strength and agility have increased by 2 points, and mental strength has increased by a full 4 points. Now, Chen Yuan's mental strength has reached 35 points. This is an extremely terrifying number, enough to make some mages who have completed the second rank ashamed. Jia, babble, at the same time that Chen Yuan completed the level promotion. From the dilapidated hut in front of him, there was a chilling murmur of confusion. Immediately afterwards, a dark gray shadow gradually floated out of it. LV.5 Ghost. Attributes: Strength, 5. Agility, 10. Mental Power, 17. Characteristics: Soul, Spirit, Body, Physical Damage Reduction by 90%. Skill, Fierce Scream. It can affect people's mind and cause confusion. The ghost you met for the first time was the highest level. Chen Yuan's eyes were fixed on the figure of the ghost, and the eyes of true vision opened. Weaknesses: Light Element, Fire Element. No wonder World Original recommended him to brush ghosts, saying that he could be easily killed by a flaming sword. It turns out that the fire element is also the weakness of this ghost. Isn't it easy to deal with? Jia, the ghost suddenly let out a shrill roar. This is the ability of the ghost, the scream of fear. In an instant, many of the surrounding low-level monsters fled. Those who didn't have time to escape, almost all of them were affected by the scream of fear and began to kill each other. Unfortunately, this did not help Chen Yuan in the slightest. Fear Scream can reduce the psychic power corresponding to the ghost to all creatures within the range. If a common mage is here, after reducing the mental power by 17 points, it will definitely cause confusion and become food for ghosts. But these 17 o'clock, to Chen Yuan, is nothing but a drizzle. Not to mention, there is also a 20% reduction in the blue ring. Flaming Great Sword. Chen Yuan's eyes narrowed. Too lazy to spend more time with this ghost. A huge flaming sword appeared in Chen Yuan's hands. Cut off in an instant, without any hesitation. There seemed to be a hint of doubt on the ghostly face. He seemed to be confused as to why Chen Yuan, a level 3 professional, was immune to its fearful scream. The flames on the flaming sword quickly engulfed the ghost's body. After about 10 seconds, it was burnt out, leaving no trace. Kill LV.5 Ghost, experience +5. Black Iron Rank Wizard LV3, 7/30. Puff, only a light blue crystal nucleus fell to the ground. Chen Yuan stepped forward to pick it up, and it turned out to be the ghost core that made the spiritual tonic. Weighing the weight, it is about 20 grams, which is enough for 4 low-level mental strength supplements. Dark Iron Rank professionals can take up to 10 bottles of low-level mental strength supplements within 24 hours, so why do they have to prepare more than 20 or 30 bottles? Continue to hunt ghosts. Silent Jungle. It was originally a playground for terrifying ghosts, a forbidden place for low-level professionals. But at this time, it has become a hunting ground for Chen Yuan's unilateral hunting, constantly plundering the ghost core on the ghost. Slowly, the number of ghost cores on Chen Yuan's body is enough to make 40 bottles of low-level spiritual tonic. Just about to return from work. The deepest part of the jungle. There was a terrified roar. Impossible. How is this going? Why is there a LV.15 Ghost King here? Quick, miss, we will cover you. Use the city return scroll immediately. The Ghost King of LV.15. Chen Yuan's curiosity was immediately aroused. Isn't there a ghost of LV.5 at most in the Silent Forest? What the hell is this Ghost King? Looking at the world's original text. Ghost King. The powerful ghosts produced after a large number of ghosts devour each other. The average level is above 14, and the mental power attribute is particularly prominent, about 25 points. Original recommendation: it is suitable for use as a novice wizard's soul pet, and can even be used as a guinea pig that provides spiritual power during experiments. It is quite easy to use. Chen Yuan, a guinea pig that provides mental power during the experiment. Are wizards so wicked? But I like it. Stop, turn your head and head towards the depths of the jungle. This Ghost King, Chen Yuan, accepted it. Deep in the Silent Forest. Facing the Ghost King, Zhou Yueling and his party were struggling to support him. No, this Ghost King's interference is too strong. I I can't separate my heart to use the city return scroll. Zhou Yueling gritted her teeth and said, her beautiful face was pale. Around the four of them, there is a mask formed by a hazy and bright holy light, which is resisting the scream of fear of the Ghost King. The spiritual power of this Ghost King is much higher than that of ordinary ghosts, reaching a terrifying level of 26 points. Even if Zhou Yueling relied on the bronze item, soft light staff, and bronze item, moonlight gauze skirt given by the family, her mental power had reached a super high 20 points. Coupled with the blessing of the Holy Priest's exclusive skill Blessing of Brightness that has just reached LV.3, he can barely maintain his mind from being disturbed by scream of fear. But Zhou Yueling's spiritual power is rapidly declining, and soon there will be no way to maintain the aura of bright blessing. What the hell happened here? Why is there a Ghost King? Miss, you don't need to bless us, we'll delay you, you use the city return scroll immediately. Zhang Dong's face is also ugly, but he knows that the most important thing now is to protect Zhou Yueling's safety. No, if I don't give you blessings, you will never be able to resist the spiritual shock of the Ghost King. Although Zhou Yueling's lips were bloodless, she still insisted on gritting her teeth. This Banhua, who looks aloof and cold on weekdays, is actually very kind-hearted, and can't do anything to leave everyone alone and escape. Besides, once I let go of the barrier, after you are affected by the spirit of the Ghost King, turn around and attack me, and I have no way to resist. That's what I said, but... Seeing that Zhou Yueling refused to leave the four of them behind, Zhang Dong was moved at the same time. Although he wanted to refute, he also knew that what Zhou Yueling said was not unreasonable. Although he is a bronze-ranked 18th level great swordsman, his mental power is only 22 points. The strength of the other three is much worse than him, and their mental strength is only about 18 points. Without the blessing of bright and pure blessing, it is very likely that the four of them will be instantly confused by the scream of fear of the Ghost King and become a killing machine controlled by it. At that time, if she turned her spear to attack Zhou Yueling, she would have absolutely no way to resist the attacks of the three bronze-ranked swordsmen. Thinking of this, Zhang Dong suddenly sank his heart, no longer thought about it, and shouted at the others. Concentrate, this Ghost King's skill should not last that long. When its skill ends, we will launch an attack immediately. Although it is only 10% effective, it is still a glimmer of hope for survival. Yes, clear, several people responded. Zhou Yueling even took out a bottle of low-level mental strength tonic from his pocket, raised his head and drank it. This is prepared before entering the silent forest, in order to be able to replenish it in case of a lack of spiritual power. After drinking the mental power supplement, Zhou Yueling's mental power that was about to bottom out was replenished. The bright blessing mask that had been dimmed a lot also became bright again. But Zhou Yueling knew that this was the only bottle of spiritual tonic she was carrying. Wait until the mental power is exhausted this time, if the duration of the Ghost King's skills has not ended. Then a few of them may really stay here forever. Time passed by second. The mask of bright blessing has dimmed to the limit. It seems that the next second will be broken by the Ghost King's seemingly endless screaming fluctuations. Zhou Yueling's body had begun to tremble uncontrollably, and cold sweat was oozing from her white cheeks. The eyes of Zhang Dong and the others were all red. Seeing my lady insist so much for herself, they could hardly hold back the urge to rush out to fight the Ghost King to the death. But right now, in the jungle, a crimson light flashed. I saw a huge flame sword go straight towards the Ghost King. Boom! The fiery flames are almost instantaneous. He cut off half of the Ghost King's body. The next second, Chen Yuan's figure appeared in front of everyone, holding a flaming giant sword, that resolute and handsome profile. It's like a savior descending from the sky, giving people an inexplicable peace of mind. Even Zhou Yueling, who was almost unable to support it. At this time, his eyes widened, looking at the familiar figure in front of him in disbelief. Are you Chen Yuan? Chen Yuan nodded. He just discovered it too. Among the group of people being attacked, there was a familiar face. But you're not. What Zhou Yueling wanted to say was, didn't Chen Yuan awaken the wizarding profession? Wasn't this occupation always recognized as the weakest hidden occupation? It is more than enough to be better than the other, and it tarnishes the prestige of the hidden profession in vain. But what happened to the flaming giant sword in his hand? He stopped his words abruptly and looked at the flaming giant sword in disbelief. If I remember correctly, this is a rare skill that mages can only learn after level 5, right? Even if there is a skill scroll, it is very difficult to learn. Most mages will not learn it until after the first turn. But Chen Yuan, a wizard, can actually use a flaming sword. But she didn't have time to think about it. I saw the furious Ghost King. The already blurred face gradually distorted. It actually launched another scream of fear. Chen Yuan, come to my holy blessing. That scream of fear can reduce a full 25 points of mental power. You will become a lunatic who only knows how to kill. Zhou Yueling shouted anxiously, although I don't know why Chen Yuan can use the flaming sword. But once he is affected by this fearful scream, with his mental power, he will definitely not be able to bear it. Chapter 11. Miss, is that your friend? Seeing Zhou Yueling's anxious look, Zhang Dong asked in a deep voice. Well, Zhou Yueling nodded. Although she and Chen Yuan are not in the same class, they are in the same school anyway, so there is nothing wrong with being friends. Then I'll give him a hand. Zhang Dong gritted his teeth and stepped out of the mask of bright blessing. I plan to try to stretch out half of my body and pull Chen Yuan in. But what he didn't expect was, just when he was going to pull Chen Yuan actually moved, not in the direction of the bright blessing mask, but in the direction of the Ghost King. Zhang Dong was stunned when he saw this scene. I even doubted in my heart whether this friend of the young lady was a stunner. That's not an ordinary ghost. Even if you can use a flaming sword. But can you still survive in front of Ghost King's scream of fear? You must know that even if it is her own young lady, she has 2 bronzes, plus the professional bonus of the holy priest, so that it can barely resist the impact of fear scream. And many more. Zhang Dong's pupils shrank suddenly. Look at Chen Yuan's figure rushing towards the Ghost King without the slightest stagnation. My heart is shaking like an earthquake and tsunami. He was not affected by fear scream. How can that be? Not only Zhang Dong, others, including Zhou Yueling. At this moment, they all looked at Chen Yuan's back in disbelief. There is no way to explain why he is immune to the influence of the Ghost King scream of fear. You know, this is a terrifying skill that can reduce mental power by 25 points. Unless there is a professional who is good at spiritual abilities like a silver level second turn mage, it will be difficult for anyone to come here. But now, this impossible scene is just displayed in front of everyone's eyes. Let everyone hold their breath and forget to breathe for a while. I see. Jia, the Ghost King whose size is several times larger than that of ordinary ghosts. Looking at Chen Yuan, who was rushing towards him with a flaming giant sword. Although I don't know why Scream of Fear didn't work, I immediately cast another skill. I saw that its solid figure suddenly burst out with several black ghosts, entwining towards Chen Yuan. Skill Ghost Binding, it can wrap the opponent with ghostly aura, paralyzing them and restricting their movements. In the face of several ghosts rushing towards him, Chen Yuan was highly concentrated, dodging left and right, using the high amount of mental power as a prediction. After escaping the entanglement of several ghosts, he raised the flaming giant sword in his hand. A sword slash landed on a place where the core of the Ghost King was slightly offset. The scorching flames burned the Ghost King's body again. In extreme pain, the Ghost King's body began to tremble and twist uncontrollably. See when the time is right. Chen Yuan didn't hesitate. The blue ring, the skill is activated. Blue soul. With bursts of faint blue light scattered, a special hexagram pattern appeared behind the Ghost King. Next second, countless thin lines of spiritual power stretched out from the 6-pointed star pattern. Firmly bound the Ghost King's body and pulled it into the 6-pointed star array. The blue dim light gradually dissipated. Everything is calm again, as if nothing happened. Only Zhou Yueling and his party of 5 people. The whole process was stunned to witness the disappearance of the Ghost King. The shock in my heart can hardly be expressed in words. A long time. Zhang Dong's throat rolled. He turned to Zhou Yueling slightly stiffly. Asked with difficulty, "Miss, he's really your friend. Not your school's tutor." Obviously, the strength Chen Yuan showed almost exceeded Zhang Dong's perception of the strength of a student. This made Zhang Dong even think that Chen Yuan was the tutor of Zhou Yueling's school, otherwise how could he have such a terrifying ability? That flaming sword is still within a reasonable range. He could completely ignore the 25-point mental weakening of the Ghost King, and cut him into serious injuries. And then, also subdued it. You tell him this is something a student can do. Ghosts don't believe it. Who doesn't know that this class of students just woke up today? But what answered him was Zhou Yueling's long silence. Obviously, her inner shock can only be worse than Zhang Dong's. Because Zhang Dong didn't know Chen Yuan's occupation, but she did. Wizard. A weak occupation that can't do anything. On the day of the job transfer, you can use a flaming sword, ignoring the weakening of 26 points of mental power, and you can also conquer the Ghost King up to level 15. That's just outrageous. But I haven't had time to digest the shock in my heart. Seeing that Chen Yuan didn't seem to have any intention of staying, he walked directly outside the dense forest. Zhou Yueling hurriedly shouted softly. Wait. Maybe too weak. The voice seemed weak. Seeing Chen Yuan didn't seem to hear. When she was anxious, she ran directly towards Chen Yuan. Hearing the footsteps behind him, Chen Yuan turned around. As a result, there was a gust of wind blowing. Then, softly embraced. Turn out to be due to too much mental energy consumption. In addition, the shock brought by Chen Yuan is difficult to digest. Zhou Yueling, who had just run to Chen Yuan, fainted directly in Chen Yuan's arms. Feeling the tenderness in his arms and the girl's unique fragrance, Chen Yuan felt a little strange in his heart, but he quickly suppressed it. Zhang Dong and his party rushed over in a hurry, supported and took Zhou Yueling. After examining Zhou Yueling, there is no serious problem, but after the coma caused by the lack of mental power. Zhang Dong breathed a deep sigh of relief, bowed to Chen Yuan, and sincerely apologized. I'm sorry. Our lady should want to thank you for coming. In this way, due to the lady's health, we will go back first, and when the lady wakes up, we will go to the door to thank you. Well, yes. After Chen Yuan responded casually, he turned and left. His original intention was to conquer the Ghost King. As for saving people, thank you or something, it's not too late to talk about it later. Right now, he just wants to go back and make low-level spiritual tonics. By the way, let's take a look at how strong the Ghost King you just conquered. After returning to Hangzhou, Chen Yuan didn't go home immediately, but went to the material store to buy some spirit leaf grass powder. This kind of spiritual leaf grass is only a low-level elixir material, which can be picked in large quantities in the wild. Therefore, the price is not high, and Chen Yuan only spent less than 1,000 dragon summer coins to buy enough to make 40 bottles of low-level spiritual tonic. After buying the materials, Chen Yuan inquired about the current price of low-level spiritual supplements. The owner of the material store is obviously helpless. Even if it is the lowest level of spiritual supplements, it is not something that a material store like me can sell. If you want to know the price, it's best to go to the pharmacy opened by the Alchemist Association to buy it. 2. This kind of spiritual tonic is even the lowest level. It is not affordable for ordinary people, and ordinary material stores are definitely out of stock. Chen Yuan left the material store and headed towards the pharmacy on the other side. In today's world, there are many professionals, and a corresponding professional alliance has naturally developed. For example, the Pharmacist Alliance Elixir House or the Mage Alliance Spell Spire, etc. The pharmacy in each city was opened by the Pharmacist Alliance Spiritual Medicine House. It specializes in selling all kinds of potions made by the city's pharmacists. Soon, Chen Yuan came to the door of the pharmacy house. The waitress who was in charge of welcoming the guests quickly greeted them. Hello, sir, what can I do for you? The waitress had a great attitude and was clearly professionally trained. I would like to ask, what is the approximate price of low-level spiritual supplements? The current market price of low-level spiritual supplements is about 15,000 Longxia coins a bottle. Do you need to buy them, sir? Our store now has about 30 in stock. Good guy. A bottle of low-level mental strength tonic can even be sold for 15,000 dragon summer coins. The materials Chen Yuan currently has are enough to make 40 bottles, that is, if they sell it, they can sell for 400,000 Longxia coins. But what surprised him even more was that in such a large pharmacy, there were only 30 low-level mental tonics in stock. Excuse me, can I ask again, why is there only so much stock of this low-level mental strength supplement? It's okay, sir, this is not some industry secret. The waitress smiled and said, this kind of low-level spiritual tonic is a timely spiritual potion. Although the raw materials are not rare, it is extremely troublesome and difficult to make. The first-rank pharmacist has only a 20% chance of being successful, and the second-rank pharmacist has only a 30% chance. This has led to the fact that the daily output is not much, but correspondingly, the consumption is very large. Whether it's a dungeon or a wild adventure, many professionals will buy a few bottles for spare. As a result, supply is often in short supply, and 30 stocks are already more than usual. It turns out that Chen Yuan understood. I didn't expect that this lowest level mental strength supplement would be so popular. It seems that I can do 40 pieces casually, which seems to be comparable to the production capacity of Hangzhou pharmacists. Please bring me a set of props made from potions, plus 40 small reagent bottles. Okay, sir. The waitress quickly went to get beakers, measuring cylinders, droppers, ultra-sensitive electronic scales, and other props that pharmacists would use when making medicines, as well as several dozen unopened small reagent bottles. I take the liberty to ask, sir, are you also a pharmacist? That's it. A pharmacist who can't make potions is not a good wizard. Chen Yuan nodded, admitting it, and at the same time took the things and threw them into his personal warehouse. Then, are you interested in joining Elixir House? We can provide the largest sales channel and give members a monthly subsidy. No need for now, thank you, and settle the bill. Okay, a total of 1,230 Dragon Summer coins. After paying the bill fluently, Chen Yuan left the pharmacy. Joined the pharmacists' union. Not that interested. Back home, Chen Yuan immediately began to act. First, open the eye of true sight. This way, as long as no obvious mistakes are made in the process of making the potion. For example, if a certain material is added too much or too little, the success rate of potion making can reach 100%. The making process is actually quite simple. Grind the spirit leaf grass and ghost core into powder first. After weighing strictly according to the recipe, add it to each small reagent tube. It is then controlled by special spiritual power to make the two materials closely fit before dissolving. Soon, the first bottle of low-level spiritual tonic has been made. Low-level mental power supplement, the lowest level mental power supplement, which can replenish 10 points of mental power at one time. Perfect. The item description appears, which means it has been successful. After Chen Yuan put it away, he immediately started the production of the remaining spiritual tonic. Time flies, but Chen Yuan is enjoying it. In a blink of an eye, it was night time. All 40 low-level spiritual tonics have been made. Looking at the low-level mental strength supplements neatly placed in front of him. A sudden sense of pride and abundance. Now I am a small pharmacy by myself. Even a black iron rank professional can only take 10 pills within 24 hours, which is the storage of 100 points of mental power. In battle, it will definitely have an unexpected effect. After appreciating his masterpiece, Chen Yuan then swept them all into his personal warehouse. Then, his eyes fell on the blue ring on his hand. Previously, I was busy making low-level spiritual tonics. Now I finally have time to look at the Ghost King I subdued. With a thought, the blue ring in his hand gradually emits a faint blue light. The next second, the huge body of the Ghost King appeared in front of Chen Yuan. LV.15 Bronze Rank Ghost King. Attributes: Strength, 22. Agility, 18. Mental Power, 26. Characteristics: Soul Spirit Body, Physical Damage Reduction by 90%. Skill: Scream of Fear, it can affect people's mind and cause confusion. Skill: Ghost Binding, it can wrap the opponent with ghostly aura, paralyzing them and restricting their movements. Good guy, as expected of a monster of the bronze rank. Except for the mental power attribute, the rest of the attributes are hanging on the current self. And many more. As Chen Yuan's gaze moved down, I saw the following, and there is even an original recommendation. It's just that this original recommendation seems a bit outrageous. Original recommendation. Transformed as not a good wizard, secret pattern mechanical transformation. Original recommendation: as the most common soul creature, maybe some transformations can be made to strengthen some physical attack methods. A wizard who can't be biologically modified, weak burst. The most common soul creature. Do some makeover. Strengthen physical attack methods. A wizard who can't be biologically modified, weak burst. Good guy, worthy of the world's original. But, Ghost King's mental attack skills are already quite powerful. If the physical attack can really be transformed, the overall combat power of the Ghost King can definitely be improved by another level. To say this is not heartwarming, it must be false. I have never learned the means of biological modification at all. But for wizards, knowledge is power, and the Book of Worlds contains all the knowledge of this world. World Original, turn the page. Mental strength testing. Basic knowledge of biotransformation. Spiritual force requirement, 30. To meet the conditions. World Original, special skills, biological transformation. Mechanical transformation of secret pattern. Introduction. This is the most simple and primary method of biotransformation. Through physical machinery, plus the secret pattern transmission device, the purpose of biological transformation is achieved. Original simulation can be used. Secret pattern mechanical transformation. Chen Yuan had never heard of this term. But the secret pattern was learned in school. The secret pattern is a special craft, which is made by imitating the meridians in the human body. The secret pattern can conduct power and spiritual power to achieve a function of energy transmission. Through the secret pattern, plus the mechanical device, can the creature be transformed. Chen Yuan was thinking, and suddenly a picture came to his mind. That was the white-boned creepy wolf we met in the wild earlier. It can pierce the body with sharp white bones for stabbing. If your own Ghost King can also use this skill, it can definitely have an unexpected effect. There are several sharp white bones in the personal warehouse, and the secret patterns and mechanical devices are installed in the Ghost King's body, and the sharp white bones are stabbed out when needed. The perfect renovation plan. Chen Yuan was excited. Looking at the Ghost King in front of him, his eyes were full of fire. Ghost King. It's just that this secret pattern can only be made by secret craftsmen among craftsmen professionals. The price is definitely not low. Chen Yuan immediately searched the internet for the market price of the secret pattern. Primary secret pattern, the energy efficiency is low, the maximum energy efficiency ratio is 40%, and the price is 50,000 Longxia coins per meter. Intermediate secret pattern, the energy efficiency is average, the maximum energy efficiency ratio is 60%, and the price is 200,000 Longxia coins per meter. Have a look around. The only thing Chen Yuan can afford now is the primary secret pattern. However, the primary secret pattern is more than enough to release the white bone spurs. As for the required length, it can only be known through the simulation of world originals. Chen Yuan no longer hesitated, and immediately started the original simulation. Original simulation open. Content. Ghost King's secret pattern mechanical transformation. The virtual world is being generated. The real world gradually fades, and the virtual world slowly builds. The lines and light spots are the same as before, but in the virtual world at this time, there are more Ghost Kings. Ghost King data specimen model is ready. The secret pattern data sample model is ready. The mechanical tool specimen model is ready. After a series of preparatory work is completed, the faceless figure reappeared in the virtual world. I saw him manipulating the mechanical transformation tool, starting at the physical core of the Ghost King. After laying the secret pattern on it, it was extended with a mechanical plate, and the sharp white bones and sharp thorns were installed on it. Pulleys, catapults, power source links. A series of dazzling operations came down. The sharp bones and thorns have been installed. Then, the faceless man put away his tools. He retreated to a distance of several meters away from the Ghost King. Models of several low-level monsters are being generated. With his silent signal, the Ghost King screamed. The ghost core is instantly filled with energy. Through the power source linking device, the secret pattern transmission, charging to the ejection device. Puff! Several incomparably sharp and terrifying bone thorns shot out. Immediately penetrate the bodies of those monsters. The power is terrifying, no less than the full blow of a bronze-ranked swordsman. The makeover is perfect. Dizziness came. The virtual world is about to dissipate. But Chen Yuan knew very well. After only simulating once, I did not fully grasp the content of this secret pattern mechanical transformation. Without thinking about it, I immediately took out 3 low-level mental strength supplements from my personal warehouse and drank them in one gulp. The mental power is replenished. World Original. Consume all mental power. Simulate again. Issued with Chen Yuan's order. The virtual world no longer recedes, but rapidly recovers. Everything is back to normal again. The faceless has been given a new makeover. This time, Chen Yuan still looked very carefully. Second time over, Chen Yuan has almost mastered 80% of the content of the transformation. But the remaining 20% is very likely to lead to the failure of the transformation. Chen Yuan resolutely took out 3 low-level mental strength supplements again, and performed the third simulation. The third simulation is over. Chen Yuan finally mastered the entire content of the Ghost King's secret pattern mechanical transformation. As long as you prepare the materials, you can complete the transformation. The exhaustion of the spiritual void struck. The lines and blips of the virtual world dissipate. Chen Yuan did not use low-level psychoactive supplements again. Instead, he gritted his teeth and insisted on taking the Ghost King back to the blue ring. Then try to get to the bed. Then he stumbled onto the bed. Hoa hoa hoa. The next day, sunlight poured into the house through the window. A gentle wind blows by. Chen Yuan woke up leisurely. After a good night's sleep, the consumption of mental energy has long since recovered. The whole person is refreshed and full of energy. It took a full 6 low-level mental strength supplements last night to learn the mechanical transformation of the secret pattern. Today is the time to practice. Just when Chen Yuan was about to go out, there was a knock on the door first. So early, who would it be? Chen Yuan opened the door curiously. Outside the door, the visitor is no one else. It was Zhou Yueling who came to thank him. Seeing Chen Yuan open the door, Zhou Yueling, who usually has a cold temperament, felt a little nervous for no reason. She already knew that she fainted in Chen Yuan's arms, which made her a little overwhelmed when she had such close contact with a boy for the first time. Hello, thank you for saving us that day. Zhou Yueling said with some stumbling. Seeing this, Chen Yuan felt a little surprised. On weekdays at school, everyone rumored how aloof and inaccessible Zhou Yueling, the flower of Class 1, was. Looking at it this way now, Banhua is indeed Banhua, she looks beautiful, but she is cold, that seems to be the case. But what kind of person Zhou Yueling was, Chen Yuan didn't care. Now he just wants to quickly buy the secret pattern and make a transformation on the Ghost King to practice his theory. It's okay, I was mainly to subdue the Ghost King, and I just did it to save you. If there is nothing else, I still have something to do and may have to go first. Wait a minute. Zhou Yueling shouted softly. See Chen Yuan's doubtful gaze. Zhou Yueling took out a bank card from his pocket and handed it over with both hands. Although what happened yesterday may have been easy for you, it did indeed save my life. This is my little thought. There are 1 million yuan of Longxia coins in it, and the password is 6 zeros. Please accept it. 1 million Longxia coins. Because it's not a class. Chen Yuan's understanding of Zhou Yueling is extremely limited. All I know is that her family is good. Didn't expect it to be so good. Just take out 1 million Longxia coins. In this case, Chen Yuan is naturally more respectful than obedient. He already had a hunch that, as a wizard, he would definitely spend a lot of money in various strange fields in the future. Not really without a deposit. If that's the case, then I'll take it. Chen Yuan smiled politely and took the bank card from Zhou Yueling's hand. The money is my thanks, but my father was going to say thank you after hearing what happened yesterday, something like this might be of use to you. With that said, Zhou Yueling took out a small black bead from her personal warehouse. This is something my father got by chance in the wild. The item description is blank, and there is only a wizard-exclusive label. We asked a senior appraiser to appraise it, but we didn't get the slightest result. My father said, if you give it to you, maybe you can make the best use of it. Saying that, he handed over the black beads in his hand. For wizards, Chen Yuan suddenly became interested. Compared to the 1 million, this mysterious item might be more valuable. Look at it at a glance. Mysterious black beads. Wizard exclusive. Other than that, nothing else. Interesting. Chen Yuan opened the eyes of true vision. In the pupil of the right eye, mysterious runes are circulating. Zhou Yueling on the side, after accidentally seeing it, the whole person is so sluggish in place. It wasn't until Chen Yuan's true eyes closed that she got out of that state. On the surface, he was calm, but his heart had already set off a huge wave. What is this? Single quote. Why does it give me such a mysterious and powerful feeling? Even the father of the golden rank never gave me this feeling. Same as Zhou Yueling. Chen Yuan looked business as usual at this time. But the shock in his heart was no less than Zhou Yueling. This is because of the unremarkable black beads. It turned out to be a gold-level gem item. Golden rank gem Medusa's gaze. Introduction: the eyeballs that were once taken from the body of the epic creature Medusa by a powerful wizard. After a long time, the magic power contained on it has disappeared, but it is still terrifying. Attributes: Spirit plus 20, Agility plus 10, Strength plus 10. Skill: Medusa's gaze. It can make opponents whose mental power is lower than 70% of the user's upper limit of mental power enter a petrified state, unable to perform any actions. Characteristic: Destiny's Entanglement. Only wizards can use it, and it can be embedded on the corresponding equipment. However, during the activation period, mental power consumes 10 points per second. After figuring out the true identity and function of this black bead through the eye of true sight, Chen Yuan can only describe it with 2 words. That is, fear. Powerful. That skill, called Medusa's gaze, is simply perverted. It can make people whose upper limit of spiritual power is lower than 70% of the user enter a petrified state. No action can be taken. Notice, here is the upper limit of mental power. That means, even while the gem is active, consumes 10 mental energy per second. However, the judgment of the effect of the skill only depends on the upper limit of mental power. Chen Yuan's mental strength is now as high as 31 points. With 20 points after equipment, you can reach 51 points. 70% of 51 points is close to 36 points. This means that Chen Yuan can have about 4 seconds to activate Medusa's gaze and put anyone with a mental power lower than 36 in a petrified state. Take a deep breath. Try to suppress the ecstasy inside. Chen Yuan took over this perverted gem. I accept your wishes. Oh, then I'll leave you alone, bye. Zhou Yueling, who was shocked by the eyes of true vision, came back to her senses, not noticing Chen Yuan's strangeness at all. After thanking again, he left with his entourage. As Zhou Yueling's back gradually disappeared from the field of vision, Chen Yuan lowered his head and looked at the Medusa's gaze lying quietly in the palm of his hand. The smile at the corner of his mouth could no longer be suppressed. Compared to the 1 million cash, this is his biggest gain today. However, gems are a special item. It can only work if it is embedded in the equipment. But the equipment with inlaid holes must be at least the silver rank. Even silverware has a very small chance of having inlaid holes, while goldware is more common. It is like the blue ring on Chen Yuan's hand, although it is silver, but it has no inlaid holes. Leave it first, and wait until you encounter equipment with inlaid holes. After collecting Medusa's gaze, Chen Yuan prepared to continue to acquire the secret pattern. According to yesterday's original simulation, the secret pattern required to transform the Ghost King is at least 1.5 meters, which will cost 75,000 Longxia coins. If not for the 1 million Longxia coins sent by Zhou Yueling just now, the 75,000 would have spent about half of Chen Yuan's last deposit. As for now, it's just a sprinkling of water. Secret patterns are special creations of craftsmen. This is the same as all kinds of pharmacies or exclusive to pharmacists. Pharmacy needs to be purchased at the pharmacy opened in Spiritual Medicine House. The secret pattern needs to be purchased directly from the Luban Union in the local city. After taking the corresponding bus and driving for 5 stops in the urban area, we came to the place where the Luban Union is located. Here, most of the craftsmen professionals in Hangzhou live. As a life occupation, although a craftsman professional cannot have the terrifying combat power like a combat professional, but the craft utensils produced by their subordinates are necessary to keep the city running and life stable. Before coming to the trade union window, Chen Yuan expressed the need to buy secret patterns. I need a 1.5 meter primary secret pattern, thank you. Primary secret pattern. Let me check the current real-time price, 51,000 per meter. It seems to be a little higher than yesterday. Do you still want to buy it? Price goes up. 1,000 Dragon Summer coins rose per meter. This is still within the acceptable range for Chen Yuan. Okay, get me 1.5 meters and swipe the card. Okay, please wait. Sir, is this the Zhou family's card? Huh, what's the problem? The Zhou family has cooperated with our Luban Trade Union in Hangzhou. This is a VIP card, which can enjoy a 20% discount. After paying, you can pick it up. Brother Window's address to Chen Yuan has changed from you to you. Maybe this is the treatment of the VIP card. Take the card and the corresponding box for storing the secret pattern. Chen Yuan was about to leave. Oncoming, but bumped into a familiar face. Chen Yuan, are you here to buy something too? A surprised voice came. Lin Lele happily ran towards Chen Yuan. Today's Lin Lele wore a cute bare short sleeve. But the lower body was a pair of denim shorts, exposing her pinkish white legs. It has to be said that a legal loli is still very attractive to men. Many people passing by, from time to time, secretly glanced at this side. Well, let's buy something. Unlike Zhou Yueling, Lin Lele and Chen Yuan are classmates. The relationship is good on weekdays, but seeing Chen Yuan at this time is naturally more enthusiastic than Zhou Yueling. Well, let me guess what you bought. Lin Lele circled around Chen Yuan, shaking his head quite cutely. Dang 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 dang. It must be a staff, right? Wrong. Chen Yuan shook his head. In an instant, Lin Lele's enthusiasm was extinguished, and he pouted and murmured. Didn't you wake up to become a wizard? A wizard, like a mage, needs a staff, right? Don't talk about me, what about you, what did you come to buy? Chen Yuan knew that Lin Lele was this character, and changed the subject with a smile. Me, I'm here to buy a beast trap. Didn't I wake up to become a beastmaster? But those monsters don't seem to like me very much, so I just wanted to try it with the beast trap. The trapping ring, a special item made by the Luban Union, has several small magic circles engraved in it. Once the monster is caught by the beast ring, the small magic circle in it will take effect, which can weaken and paralyze. Generally speaking, only beastmasters or professionals who need to capture pets will buy them. Humph, when you see me next time, I must have conquered a level 5 beast. Lin Lele was wielding a small pink fist, full of confidence, and Chen Yuan couldn't help but laugh at it. Looking at it with the eyes of true vision, she seems to be only level 1 now. However, it was only a day away from the awakening. As long as they don't go to the wild to level up, they should be about the same. It's no wonder that conquering a level 5 beast has become her goal. I just don't know how she would feel if she knew that her wizard had conquered a level 15 Ghost King. Then good luck, I'll go first. Goodbye, back home. Chen Yuan couldn't wait to take out all the tools he bought. Sharp bone spurs, mechanical tools, transmission gears, secret patterns. When everything is ready, summon the Ghost King. Although the Ghost King is not very wise. But look at that full of tools. The blurred face also seemed to be wrinkled. Don't worry, I've watched the simulation 3 times, and I'm very familiar with it. Chen Yuan smiled and picked up the tool, while the Ghost King frowned. Begin to build the corresponding bearing device in its ghost core. Jia, 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 Ghost King, sharp bone spurs. Jia, following Chen Yuan's order, 4 sharp bone spurs violently shot out of the Ghost King's body. Like a murderous arrow from the string, it pierced deeply into the wall more than 10 centimeters. If this stabs a monster or a person, it is estimated that it can be directly pierced. Successful transformation. Chen Yuan clenched his fists excitedly. The first secret pattern mechanical transformation was so successful, how can people not be excited? Ding! Achievement achievement. Biological enemy crazy transformer, dark iron rank. The next step is to transform 5 different species in any way. Achievement reward. Biodetection halo. Life detection halo, don't be afraid, I will find you sooner or later. Effect, spend 1 mental power per minute to detect signs of life within a radius of 50 meters, and the range will expand despite the increase of the upper limit of mental power. Chen Yuan. And achievement rewards. It's just the title of the public enemy of creatures, crazy transformer, and this life detection aura. How does it sound? how much is a little perverted. The mechanical transformation of the secret pattern has come to an end. Take the Ghost King back to the blue ring. Chen Yuan set a schedule for himself for the next few days. Counting today, there are only 6 days left before the big exam. During these 6 days, he had to improve his strength as much as possible. So the most important thing is to level up. The level of the professional upgrade can be described as extremely huge. For each level of promotion, according to the individual's physical talent and the level of the level, the attribute points to be improved are also different. Generally speaking, the attribute of occupational preference is bound to improve. For example, when a black iron warrior is upgraded by 1 level, the strength attribute is bound to increase by 1 point. If the talent and physique are good, it may be able to increase by 2 points. When a silver level warrior is upgraded to 1 level, the strength attribute is bound to increase by 2 points, and it may be 3 points or 4 points. As for the non-biased attributes, it is much more difficult to improve. The average person can only increase by 1 point for every 3 levels. This is also why Zhang Dong was an 18th level bronze-ranked swordsman in Silent Forest, but his mental power was only 20 points. My talent should be regarded as the best group. I am currently LV.3, my mental power has increased by 5 points, and my strength and agility have increased by 3 points. This means that even if there is no system, my natural physique is the strongest. It's just that the wizarding profession is awakened. Without the help of the system, it may be pulled away by other professions in the middle and late stages. Then, now, I am strong by myself, and with the assistance of the system, there is no reason not to become the strongest. Next, we need to go to a higher level to farm monsters in the wild, and strive to reach level 10 before the big test. After level 10, there is still a job transfer scroll waiting to be used. I don't know what kind of new system ability it will bring to me. I'm looking forward to it. But now, in order to make the leveling more secure, let's see if there are any suitable spells to learn. The World's Original. World Original Books, Spells, Elements. Fire Element Chapter. Original recommendation: spiritual power is up to standard, fire element affinity is not up to standard, it is not recommended to learn follow-up spells. Water element. Original recommendation: spiritual power reaches the standard, basic water element spells are weak, and the affinity of advanced water element does not meet the standard, and learning is not recommended. Take a look at it. There doesn't seem to be any proper spell to learn. Element affinity is something that requires the use of corresponding element props to improve it. For example, 1 million elemental spirit fruits, fire spirit fruit, water spirit fruit. Chen Yuan did not spend all his net worth to get such an elemental spirit fruit for the time being. So let's put aside the learning of elemental spells for a while. The original book of the world help you search for the most powerful spells that are most suitable for your current study. Searching for world originals. Searching for the target. Currently the most powerful spell can be mastered. Search is complete. The original world has turned to a new chapter. World Original Book. Spell, Secret Witch, Sacrifice. Sanity Sacrifice Punishment. Sacrifice all the sanity of oneself or the one judged to be the caster's control, sending out a terrifying shock wave of spiritual power. Basic requirements for learning: 30 points of mental power. Learning difficulty. Difficult. Learning sources: infatuation, scroll learning, cult teaching, simulation of original classics. Original recommendation: the Ghost King does not need rationality, and it satisfies the caster's dominant condition. It is recommended to learn to use it. Chen Yuan. Punishment for the sacrifice of reason. Good luck, who would sacrifice their sanity? But then I saw the source of learning. Going crazy. Cult teaching. All of a sudden things made sense again. The main thing is that this does not require sacrificing Chen Yuan's own sanity. And just need to match with a well-behaved, obedient and dedicated Ghost King, you can cast this spell. It looks not bad. It is judged by the World Original to be the most powerful spell that can be mastered at present. There is no reason not to learn. Learn it. Original simulation. Reality fades, virtuality recasts. Lines and dots of light outline the virtual world. The familiar faceless man also reappeared. Chen Yuan carefully observed the faceless man's every move. The learning difficulty of this sacrifice of reason is rather difficult. It definitely won't be like Flaming Sword, just read it once. There are still 34 low-level mental strength supplements left, which should be enough. Soon, the faceless man moved. I saw him stretch out his index finger and tap it lightly between his eyebrows. He chanted softly in his mouth. In the process of searching for the mysteries of truth, I find reason as the biggest obstacle. Endless chaos brings new knowledge. New knowledge brings new power. With this, I will sacrifice all my sanity. I implore the Lord of Chaos to bring down the apparent punishment. The chanting is finished. I saw that the faceless man's body gradually began to twist. As if something was squirming in it, as if to break through the boundaries of the virtual world. In the next second, endless violent spiritual power was released from it. The power contained in it is several times higher than that of a flaming sword. No, the syllables are wrong. No, there is a problem with the word order and rhythm. Almost. A little bit of that crazy emotion. The fourth simulation is over. Consumed 9 low-level mental strength supplements. Based on the market price assessment, a bottle of low-level mental strength supplement is 15,000 Longxia coins, which is equivalent to burning 135,000 Longxia coins in an instant. Fortunately, Chen Yuan can make it himself, otherwise, it would be really difficult to burn. But the hard work pays off in the end. After 4 original simulations, Chen Yuan has completely mastered this special sacrifice spell. The power of this spell is extremely powerful, but every time it is used, the sanity of the Ghost King will be completely sacrificed, and it takes a period of sleep to fight again. Unless I give it a few psychic tonics to get it back to life. But how do you feel? As if you were squeezing black slaves. Forget it, the Ghost King is obedient, and his IQ is not high, so there should be no problem. Stop worrying about it. Chen Yuan drank the last bottle of low-level psychotropic supplements allowed within 24 hours. Recovered 10 points of mental power and maintained a normal awake state. Look at the time. It is now around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After recovering for a while, you can go to the field to level up, and then come back to rest at 10 o'clock in the evening. Decided to level up. Regional selection is also important. Last time I went to the East Silent Forest, the level of the monsters was a bit low, and the efficiency of leveling would be affected. But further east of Silent Forest, you will arrive at the Weeping Plain, where the average level of monsters is around LV.5 to LV.10, which is more appropriate. Besides, on the way through the Silent Forest, you can hunt down some ghosts at will to prepare materials for the next low-level spiritual tonic. After the decision, Chen Yuan set off immediately. Take the bus to the city gate. After signing the risk self-assurance agreement as usual, we set off towards the Plains of Lamentation further east. A monster encountered in front of the Silent Forest. Most are only 2 or 3 levels. Chen Yuan killed him at will. Although the experience is less, mosquito meat is also meat. By the time he arrived at the entrance to the Silent Forest, the accumulated monsters that had been killed made Chen Yuan almost reach LV.4. This time, Chen Yuan didn't do it himself. Instead, he released the Ghost King in the blue ring. As an enhanced ghost born by devouring a large number of ghosts, it has a natural induction to ordinary ghosts. Go and swallow all the ghosts in this area, remember to leave the ghost cores and collect them and bring them to me. Jia Jia, the Ghost King let out a few whines. It seems to be saying that it devours ghosts for the sake of ghost cores. As a result, I can't swallow it now. Isn't it a white job? But after Chen Yuan glared at it, the Ghost King trembled all over. It seems to be thinking of the pain of being transformed. Immediately turned around and floated into the Silent Forest. In the Silent Forest, the dark and terrifying atmosphere makes people tense. But since this is the only place near Hangzhou where ghost monsters exist, many mages and priests will level up here. Fireball. Illumination. In a corner, a mage of LV.4 and a priest of LV.5. It is attacking a LV.5 ghost in front of it. They came here in a team to level up, by the way, to see if they could explode the ghost core, and take it to the elixir shop to sell. The 2 of them took turns throwing their spells at the ghost, but the ghost dodged left and right, the fireball couldn't attack, and the illumination spell couldn't cover it. This ghost is really hard to kill. The mage wiped the sweat from his forehead. Of his fireballs, only 1 out of 5 could hit. Wait until I turn around and learn evil immobilization. We come here to brush 10 or 20 of it, and it's a shame. The priest obviously also had a temper, and glared at the ghost in front of him and said, when you turn around, you will have the year of the monkey and the horse moon. Kill this ghost first and then. Wait, what is this? Before the mage could finish speaking, he saw his body trembling, and his face paled and he pointed forward. What? The priest frowned and turned to look. I saw that the ghost that was erratic just now suddenly became shivering. Immediately afterwards, a super large ghost the size of a small elephant appeared beside it at some point. He even took a sip, swallowed it. The scene in front of him scared the pastor into pieces and ran away. Just kidding, it takes so much effort for them to kill an ordinary ghost. The super giant ghost in front of them is definitely not something they can deal with. Don't run, wait to be swallowed. This crap. Let the stunned mage also come back to his senses. After a heart-wrenching, "Mama," he ran away crying. Your pet ghost king killed LV.5 ghost, experience sharing +5. Your pet ghost king killed LV.6 ghost, experience sharing +6. Your pet ghost king killed LV.5 ghost, experience sharing +5. Level up to LV.5 25/50ths. When the ghost king returned to Chen Yuan again. The experience of killing ghosts has raised Chen Yuan to LV.5. In terms of attributes, the strength is increased by 2 points, the agility is increased by 1 point, and the mental strength is increased by 4 points. Although the strength and agility are quite satisfactory, the mental power is the bonus of the maximum upper limit, which is comfortable. Jia, the Ghost King whispered at Chen Yuan. The collected ghost cores are poured out of the body. The number is about 11, which is a lot more than last time. Roughly estimated, making 60 bottles of spiritual tonic should be enough. Chen Yuan put away the ghost cores and threw 10 of them into his personal warehouse. The remaining one was thrown to the Ghost King. Just kidding, he is not a black-hearted capitalist who squeezes black slaves. How should he reward one? Jia, I didn't expect that I would be able to get a ghost core. The Ghost King roared excitedly and swallowed it. Come on, keep going. The ghosts here have been brushed almost. The next target is the monster of the Weeping Plain. That's it. One person and one soul, slowly walking deeper. If anyone saw this scene, they would definitely be shocked. After all, the Ghost King is too huge, almost the size of an elephant. But beside Chen Yuan, he is like a good little sheep. This makes it hard not to think of Chen Yuan as some kind of evil humanoid monster boss. The deepest part of the Plains of Wailing. A red-haired woman was running frantically. In her hands, she was holding a bunch of flowers like flames. Behind him, a large shadow is chasing it. Until she ran a certain distance. The shadow behind that suddenly faded like a tide. What followed was an incompetent, furious roar behind him. The woman finally breathed a sigh of relief. But then it didn't get far. Her feet were soft. The next second, the woman fell heavily to the ground and turned into a red fox. In its abdomen, a visible wound, there is a black mist flowing. Before she fell into a coma, a faint sound of footsteps was heard. And the low-pitched screeching characteristic of ghosts. He looked at the red fox in front of him. Chen Yuan's intuition told him that this fox was definitely not ordinary. Earlier he had come all the way from the woods of Silent to the Plains of Weeping. Although the level of monsters here is higher than that of Silent Forest. But under the devouring of the Flame Sword and the Ghost King, there was not much pressure at all. Along the way, it can be said that it is a murderous one, and the experience is rising. But after so long, it was the first time I saw such a red fox. Even in the basic monster encyclopedia of the school's popular science, there is no figure of this fox. The rarer, the more precious the truth, everyone understands. Chen Yuan used the basic identification technique on the unconscious crimson fox on the ground. No information was found. This is also expected. Open the eye of true sight. Silver rank LV.213 tailed red fox can grow. Introduction. An extremely rare fire-type spirit beast. It contains the blood of a 9-tailed red fox in its body. It can continuously evolve by taking fire-type spirit medicine. Talent. Fire spirit bloodline, immune to 80% fire attribute attacks. Characteristic. 3-tailed demon spirit can be resurrected 3 times. Characteristic: Demon Fox Psychic, can transform into a human form. Ability: Flame Spirit Avatar, incarnate into a pure fire element spirit fox, immune to physical damage and fire attribute attack increase by 100%. This turned out to be a silver-ranked spirit beast. Chen Yuan's breathing suddenly became rapid. It can make the world's original book rated as extremely rare. This means that the rarity of these three-tailed red foxes has reached a considerable level. Coupled with the characteristics it has, it is simply outrageous. Immune to 80% fire attribute attacks. Can be resurrected 3 times. Can be turned into pure fire element. Immune to physical damage. Increases fire damage. Taken out any one of these, it can be regarded as an extremely powerful talent. But it has 3 exclusive to one person. As for why the 3 tails only have 1 tail left. Judging from the scars on this red fox, it should have consumed 2 chances of resurrection. Chen Yuan's eyes were fiery and he no longer hesitated. Immediately summon the world original. The original book of the world. Turn to the contract chapter. Choose me a contract that I can use now. World originals, special skills, contracts. Searching. Soul contract, insufficient mental power, unable to view. Draining contract, insufficient mental power, unable to view. Blood sacrifice contract can be used. Blood sacrifice contract, it is an evil special contract method. When the other party loses consciousness and is completely unable to resist, the blood of the other party is mixed with its own blood, and the corresponding contract pattern is drawn on the hearts of both parties, and the corresponding contract prayer is recited. Contract effect: weakening the master-servant contract. The master contractor cannot force the contracted person, and the contracted person cannot cause damage to the master contractor. The blood is limited, and the contractee cannot leave the main contractor within 100 meters. The main contractor can enjoy 50% of the characteristics of the contractor. Every blood circulation cycle, 1 month, needs to be recontracted. Original recommendation: the opportunity cannot be lost, and it will never come again. Taking advantage of people's dangers can be regarded as a wizard's forte. Blood sacrifice contract. Although it sounds shameless, there is also the downside of needing to recontract every other month. But it's the only contract method that works right now. Just like what the world scriptures say. Not to be missed. Moreover, what is taking advantage of people's danger? This is clearly a conditional use. The big deal is to wait until the strength becomes stronger. Replace it with a more domineering permanent contract. After thinking about it clearly, Chen Yuan did not hesitate. Immediately write down the patterns and prayers corresponding to the blood sacrifice contract. He squatted down and lightly made a small incision on Chihu's ankle with the dagger. After taking out enough blood, mix it with his own blood, and start to draw a contract rune at the heart of the red fox. After painting on his heart, he also drew an identical contract rune. As the prayers were recited, a mysterious power gradually poured over the 2 of them. One person and one fox, who had no contact before, seemed to have established a blood connection in the dark at this time. This is the sign that the blood sacrifice contract takes effect. Call. After the contract is completed, Chen Yuan let out a deep breath. Looking at the red fox who was still unconscious. Out of the corner of the eye, he noticed a bright red. This is. Slightly opened the red fox's body. Only then did Chen Yuan realize that there was a strangely shaped spirit grass under its body. The eye of true sight opens. Silver rank Yuyan flower. Introduction: a rare fire element elixir, which can increase a lot of fire element affinity after taking it. Original recommendation: direct consumption is considered a waste, and it is the right way to use it to make medicine. Can it improve a lot of fire element affinity? Chen Yuan's eyes fell on Chihu again. It is estimated that it wants to use this secluded flower to improve its bloodline. As for the injury on its body, it should have been suffered when picking this quiet flower. This kind of spiritual grass of the same rank must have a corresponding guardian, and it is no accident that it left scars on the red fox. Hey, hard work, quietly stored Yu Yanhua in his personal warehouse. Chen Yuan crouched down again and began to examine Chihu's wound. In any case, it is already Chen Yuan's contract object, and it must not be ignored. With the help of true sight, Chen Yuan quickly figured out what the black mist in the wound was. Nether darkness. Introduction: the ghost energy with a cold nature can continuously corrode wounds and absorb vitality. Original recommendation: why don't you try to let the Ghost King absorb it? There may be unexpected surprises. After seeing the original recommendation, Chen Yuan was slightly stunned. Can the Ghost King absorb this kind of ghost energy? What would happen if it could be absorbed? Chen Yuan, who was aroused by curiosity, turned to look at the Ghost King beside him. Ghost King, Jia, don't be mad, come on, try to absorb this ghost. Chen Yuan patted the Ghost King's body and pointed to the black gas in the red fox's wound. Such a good thing, the well-behaved and obedient Ghost King should not refuse it. The Ghost King whimpered. It seems reluctant though. But in the end it did. I saw a strong suction suddenly erupt from its body. He sucked the black air from the scarlet fox's wound. Soon, there was a faint trace of black in the original gray and translucent body of the Ghost King. There was also a gloomy and dark aura all over him. With the absorption of black gas, the Ghost King seems to have undergone some changes, but it will take some time to complete. Jia, the Ghost King looked at Chen Yuan weakly. That seems to mean taking a break. Chen Yuan understood, raised his hand, and took the Ghost King back to the blue ring. I just don't know what kind of changes will happen after the Ghost King rests. After finishing everything, Chen Yuan slowly looked at the red fox on the ground. It is said that the fox spirit is fox spirit, and it really has its truth. Looking at this little red fox like this, it actually looks pretty good looking. Wake up soon. I don't know if it's because the ghost energy from the wound was absorbed. When Chen Yuan looked at it, the red fox who fainted on the ground moved his eyelids slightly. Then, slowly open, call out, almost instantly. After seeing someone in front of him, the red fox scurried away a few meters away. Looking at Chen Yuan with a wary expression, fire elements were gradually gathering around him. Hey, but I saved you, don't turn your face and don't recognize you. Chen Yuan didn't care too much. Anyway, there is a blood sacrifice contract, and there is no way for it to cause any damage to itself. Hearing Chen Yuan's words, the red fox was obviously stunned for a moment, then turned his head and glanced at the wound on his abdomen. The strange black gas that was eroding the wound all the time and absorbing its vitality has indeed disappeared. Slowly, the fire element on Chihu's body slowly dissipated. After taking a deep look at Chen Yuan, it turned its head and ran away into the distance. Chen Yuan just stood there and waited. The effect of the blood sacrifice contract. The contracted person cannot leave the contracted person 100 meters away. It is estimated that it will not be long before this little red fox will come back. As predicted, after about a minute, the red fox who had disappeared from sight. Back again, he ran to Chen Yuan. Shout something at him. But how could Chen Yuan understand the language of the fox? In addition, there is only a blood sacrifice contract between the two, not a soul contract, and there is no way to transmit information through the soul. As a result, Chen Yuan had no choice but to spread his hands. I don't understand what you said at all. Whoosh whoosh. The red fox seemed very angry. Immediately following Chen Yuan's gaze, it actually slowly turned into the red long-haired woman from before. If Zhou Yueling is the most beautiful girl Chen Yuan has ever seen before. Now, this title may have to change hands. The red hair was like flames. On the beautiful face, the agile and red pupils were staring at Chen Yuan intently. That almost perfect devil figure, slender and round legs, is enough to make any man's blood run wild. Fox spirit, well-deserved reputation. What did you do to me? Chihu looked at Chen Yuan and asked every word. The beautiful face is as cold as frost. It can be seen that she seems to have some guesses about what happened to her in her heart. However, there is no way to accept it yet. Since he couldn't accept it, Chen Yuan had no choice but to act as the ruthless exposer. I didn't do anything, just saved your life, and then signed a contract with you, which is regarded as a little interest. Anyway, there is a blood sacrifice contract. Even if this red fox has the strength of the silver rank, it cannot cause any damage to him. As for a month later, Chen Yuan believes that in a month, his strength will surpass this red fox. At that time, the blood-stained contract will be transformed into a more powerful and domineering master-servant soul contract, and the problem will be solved perfectly. Who asked you to save me? When the conjecture in the heart is verified. Chihu obviously couldn't accept the fact that he was contracted. She is a noble three-tailed red fox. Never thought that I would sign a contract with a human being. I am a kind-hearted person, and it is not my style to see death and not save me. Being signed by a human being is more uncomfortable than letting me die. I'm sorry, it can only make you feel uncomfortable. The red fox stared, but it suddenly seemed to think of something. The frost on his face melted away without a trace. On a beautiful face, a smile appeared. The paragraphs walked towards Chen Yuan. He stretched his arms around Chen Yuan's waist. The body was even more tightly attached to Chen Yuan's body. The wink is like silk, and the fragrant orchid is exhaled. Brother, sister, I have something to do. Can you cancel this contract first? I'll repay you after I'm done with my business. When the time comes, you can do whatever you want, okay? You can do whatever you want. To be frank, such a real vixen. Come on this one out. Just be a man. He looked at you begging and looking at you with affectionate eyes. It is estimated that there is no way to hold it. It is a pity. Although difficult, but Chen Yuan still managed to hold on. Did not push the red fox away. Still enjoying her gentle, personal service. But the tone is decisive and unquestionable. Sorry, no. Quote. The red fox is gone. The moment before, she was charming and charming, gentle and pleasant. In the next second, the frost on his face is comparable to the glaciers of the extreme Arctic ice sheet that have not melted for thousands of years. Seeing the red fox seems to be a bit incomprehensible. Chen Yuan felt that it was necessary for him to enlighten himself. Don't think about it too much. I am a man who will stand on the top of the world sooner or later. You are reluctant now, and you will definitely beg me not to throw you away in the future. Hearing this, Chihu glanced at Chen Yuan coldly, but did not speak, obviously disdain for Chen Yuan's words. Okay, I won't tell you so much. The contract is the contract, and it can't be changed. I'm still going to level up, you'd better keep up. When the words fell, Chen Yuan stopped paying attention to Chihu and turned around and left. As if pissed off, the red fox just stood there motionless. Until Chen Yuan walked out 100 meters. The kind of compulsion that seems to come from the blood. Let the red fox have to bite the bullet and keep up. You killed the LV.73 toothed dog, experience +7. You killed the LV.6 ground rat, experience +6. Weeping on the plains. There is no ghost king. Chen Yuan is still a child. The double blessing of super high spiritual power and the eye of true sight. Make all the little monsters look like lambs to be slaughtered in front of him. No matter their trajectory or intention, they are all clear at a glance. Behind Chen Yuan, although the red fox still had a frosty face. But compared to the beginning, it is better. After all, the contract has been signed. She's tried cracking, all of which have failed. So, what else can you do but accept it? She was just puzzled, because the other party seemed to be just a low-level professional. Why can such complex and profound contract spells be used? What kind of occupation is it? Seeing that he has been killing monsters with daggers, his movements are also very agile, and the monsters are basically unable to attack. Could it be an assassin? Single quote. Since the blood sacrifice contract can be regarded as a weakened version of the soul master-servant contract, the contractee cannot view any information about the master contractor. The red fox can only speculate from the observations that came all the way down. But the question is, how could an assassin use this advanced contract technique? She knew that she possessed the bloodline of the nine-tailed red fox, and ordinary contract spells would not be able to take effect on her. Boom. Is contemplating. Suddenly there was a huge wave of fire elements in front of him. The red fox raised his head. Only in front of you. Chen Yuan held a huge flaming sword in his hand. Cut off the head of a giant bear-like monster. You killed the LV.9 violent bear, experience +9. The red fox frowned. This is a flaming sword. Isn't this a skill that only mages can master? Could it be that he is not an assassin, but a mage? This familiar fire element control is clearly a veteran. Wait. Chihu suddenly realized that he had forgotten something. Maybe he just woke up from a coma, but he didn't even remember it. Almost in the blink of an eye, Chihu came to Chen Yuan's side. Where's my Yuyan flower? Hand it over. Chen Yuan was collecting valuable materials from the bear. Hearing Chihu's words, without turning his head, he said calmly. What is your Yuyanhua? You are my contracted spirit beast. Yours is mine, and that is clearly my Yuyanhua. I didn't expect Chen Yuan to be so rogue. Chihu didn't know what to say for a while. Besides, I saved you. It's not enough to be my contracted spirit beast. That Yuyan flower should also be included in the reward. After collecting the materials on the bear's body, Chen Yuan stood up, and the red fox with itchy teeth ignored it and continued to move forward. You're just a low-level professional. Do you know what use that Yuyanhua is? It's a waste of money for you. Chihu stomped his foot, caught up again, and stopped in front of Chen Yuan. That Yuyan flower, but she risked her life to steal it from that terrible guy. My own 3 tails, because of this incident, lost 2 tails. If Yuyanhua is still taken away, isn't everything she paid a waste? You're saying that I'm rude. Looking at the red fox standing in front of him, Chen Yuan half smiled. If I'm not mistaken, you should only be a professional of the black iron rank now. Yuyanhua is a waste in your hands. As he spoke, it seemed that he realized that he was currently the contracted person, and Chihu's tone softened again. You return it to me, and I can help you find low-level elixir, which can be absorbed by you at this stage. The softness of Chihu's clothes was beyond Chen Yuan's expectations. He originally thought that she would be arrogant for a while. Unexpectedly, it was quite timely. However, it is still impossible. Chen Yuan thought for a while, looked directly into Chihu's eyes, and said slowly. I'll tell you the truth. You want to use the method of swallowing Yuyan flower to evolve the bloodline, which is actually a fairly low-level method. Give this Yuyan flower to me, and I can make it work to the fullest. At that time, I can give you a little bit, and it will be enough for you to evolve your bloodline. What a joke, it's amazing that you know what Yuyanhua is, and... Not finished. The red fox suddenly stiffened. His face was full of shock. Looking at Chen Yuan's eyes, it was even more unbelievable. You want to ask, why do I know that you can evolve your bloodline by swallowing Yuyan flower? A faint smile appeared on Chen Yuan's face. Not only do I know that you want to devour Yuyanhua's evolutionary bloodline, but I also know that you are a 3-tailed red fox with the bloodline of a 9-tailed red fox. Seeing Chihu's expression gradually changed from shock and disbelief to nervousness and panic. The smile on Chen Yuan's mouth grew even stronger. I can even say more if you still want to hear it. Who the hell are you? The red fox finally couldn't take it anymore. Her identity, her bloodline, in addition to their family itself. Almost no one knows, let alone low-level professionals in such a place. No, he is definitely not an ordinary low-level professional, he. The red fox suddenly froze. Her eyes met Chen Yuan's. In those dark eyes like eternal night, the mysterious rune represented by the Eye of True Sight is in motion. It seems to contain the truth and mystery after the world is exhausted. The smile on Chen Yuan's face gradually transformed into an irresistible majesty and solemnity. I said it before, sooner or later I'll be the man on top of the world. At that time, you may be lucky that you met me at this time. Chen Yuan's words seemed to have a magic power, deeply engraved in Chihu's mind. It made her feel an inexplicable awe of Chen Yuan, who was several times weaker than her, without realizing it. So, do you have any questions? No. Chihu's voice became very low, very light. This means that she has been convinced by Chen Yuan's incredible mystery. Chen Yuan closed the Eye of True Sight, looking at the red fox who suddenly became like a docile little sheep in front of him. A gentle smile appeared on his face again. Then next, give you a name. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.